Our reading this morning is from the prophet Joel chapter 2, verses 30 through 32. Listen for the word of God. I will give signs in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and dreadful day of the Lord comes. But everyone who calls on the Lord's name will be saved. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there will be security, as the Lord has promised. And in Jerusalem the Lord will summon those who survive. I had a friend who was going through depression, clinical depression, and she described it this way. She said it was a deep, dark pit, and she couldn't get out of it. She could tell that the world was going on around her, and she could see the darkness closing in on her, and she knew that the darkness was not truth, but it consumed her, and she felt stuck, and like life would never be the same again. Like she was the only one who had ever experienced this, that she was alone. And true depression in that way is such a horrible experience. It's a horrible feeling. We use it sometimes so often that we minimize it or make it sound like it's not a big deal, but it's really just terrible. It's awful because it consumes everything, your mind and your spirit and even your body. There's physical responses to it. And it's a feeling ultimately of hopelessness, that there is no reason to be hopeful. There's no reason to get out of bed in the morning. This morning, Joel reminds us that those feelings are not unique to us. That depression and anxiety, they lie to us. They tell us that we're alone. But the truth is that all of us have experienced those feelings, that we're not alone in the midst of that. And we're not the only people who've ever felt this way. And that in the midst of that, we can hold on to the reality, the truth that God's promises are real, that there is a future for us, that God holds us near even when we don't feel it, when our mind and our spirit tells us other things. And sometimes if you don't have a voice to cry out and say, this is what's happening to me, then we can be open and honest about that. Because I guarantee you, you have a friend in God who has experienced the same thing and will cry out for you. Reach out, for you are a child of God.